Thank you and welcome to this live telephone town hall with Adams County residents. We appreciate you being some of the first ones on. Many of you have registered for this town hall tonight, but we're also dialing out to tens of thousands of your fellow Adams County residents, 100,000 Adams County residents dialing out to tonight to help you join this live telephone town hall meeting. So hang tight and I'll tell you how you can participate in tonight's live forum. Now we'll be joined tonight by Adams County commissioners, by county leadership, and by representatives from county departments. We're going to start off with some brief introductions. We'll hear from your county commissioners, but we want to spend most of tonight's forum answering your questions. So those of you in our live listening audience have the opportunity to really drive this forum tonight by submitting questions. Now, if you've already got questions in mind for our Adams County leadership and department staff on the line here, press 0. Get that question to an operator, and they'll just take down some notes on your question and put you in line to ask your question live. If you're not comfortable going live with your question, still press 0, get that question to an operator, and if you'd prefer to have me read your question over the air instead of bringing you live, let your operator know that, and I'm happy to do it for you. Again, either way, 0 to submit a question for our Q&A with county commissioners and Adams County staff on the line with us today. Now, we have experts joining us tonight from the Riverdale Animal Shelter, the Budget and Finance Office, the Colorado Air and Spaceport, the County Manager's Office, Community and Economic Development, Community Safety and Wellbeing, Communications, the Adams County Health Department, Facilities and Fleet Management, Human Services, Parks, Open Space and Culture and Arts, People and Culture, and Public Works. So we have a really well-represented Adams County government here to answer your questions tonight. And again, we also have your Adams County commissioners here to lead the conversation, to provide updates, and to answer your questions. So as you listen tonight, be thinking about questions you'd like to ask of our Adams County leaders and experts. And again, just press 0 to get your question to an operator. You can ask your question live, or you can let your operator know if you prefer to have me read it over the air instead. Again, either way, just press 0 to submit a question for Q&A. And if you would like to get email updates from Adams County on the issues that affect you as a county resident, you can press 7 to give us your best email address, and we'll get you updated with the county e-newsletter. We'll also read some public service announcements and run some survey questions throughout our live forum tonight. So even if you don't have a question to ask, stay tuned and learn about county's events and give your opinion through those surveys just by voting on your phone. So one more time, if you have a question in mind for our Adams County staff and commissioners on the line here to answer your questions tonight, press 0 at any time, get it into the queue. If you want to get email updates, press 7. And with that, it's my pleasure to kick off this live forum by turning it over to the Chair of the Board of Commissioners, Lynn Baca. Please go ahead, Commissioner.
Hi, all, and thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Lynn Baca, and I'm Chair of the Board of Commissioners. I am excited to be joining our community on this call because I've lived here my whole life, and this place is part of who I am. I was born and raised here in Adams County in the county seat of Brighton and believe strongly in the issues that improve the lives of our residents, strengthen our economy, and protect the health and safety of both people and the places they live. Those aren't just my values. They're values we believe in strongly here at Adams County. We work hard to make sure that the programs, services, and initiatives we offer here at the county are innovative, inclusive, and most of all, responsive to the needs of our community, our citizens. In that same vein, I wanted to share a little bit about our recent trip with several members of our board, took to Washington, D.C. to meet with our congressional representatives and senators. It's important our county has a seat at the table. That way, we can make sure the needs and interests of our residents are met, and we're better able to make sure our county continues to have strong advocates at the federal level for things like infrastructure, funding, and more. Building those relationships helps make sure our priorities are heard and supported. This is just one of the many ways we work to strengthen partnerships across all levels of government, all to make sure our communities can thrive. With that, I'll hand things over to the Vice Chair of our board, Commissioner Mullica.
Thank you so much. My name is Julie Duran Mullica, and I'm the Vice Chair of the Board of Commissioners. Just like Commissioner Baca, I was born and raised here in Adams County, and I'm from the Welby and South Thornton area. So the issues we're talking about today are near and dear to my heart. the things I hear about from constituents often is that they're interested in hearing what our county is doing to address the issues they see in our communities in real time. For example, we often hear folks telling us that they would like to report potholes, property cleanup needs, graffiti, or similar items. While we're going to talk a lot about big topics today, I want you to know that those everyday topics are top of mind for us too. If you visit adcogov.org, adcogov.org/townhall, you will see a list of ways that you can get in touch with us and let us know when there are concerns in your community. The one I want to highlight right now is the SeeClickFix app. So that's SeeClickFix app, which you could use to report issues from the convenience of your phone. Just search SeeClickFix, all one word, in your app store on either iPhone or Android, and you'll have an easy access to the county at your fingertips. I promise that just like we're listening to tonight, we'll be listening the next time you need us to. Thanks for being here, and I can't wait to hear questions. I'm going to pass things off to Commissioner Henson.
Thank you, Commissioner Mullica. I'm so happy to be here today. I'm Kathy Henson. I've lived in Thornton with my husband and 2 sons for more than 20 years now. We fell in love with Adams County, and it has become our home, just like it's home to so many of us here for a very long time. I'm very grateful every day that you've entrusted me with representing Adams County. This is my first term as a county commissioner and my first town hall with the county since taking office. So I want to use my time here tonight to highlight another newcomer here at Adams County, our brand new Office of Strategic Partnerships and Resilient Communities, or SPARK for short. We launched this at the beginning of the year. This team works closely with neighborhood groups to make sure we are capturing and understanding the needs of our county's residents and meeting them. In addition, one of their other main focuses is to work with community partner organizations to connect them with resources they need to keep making people's lives better. This new office is just one way that we are being responsible and responsive in serving you, our community. If you're interested in learning more about the Office of Strategic Partnerships and Resilient Communities, again, you can call it SPARK for short, or any of the other resources that you hear about in the call tonight, please visit adcogov.org/townhall. And now I'm going to hand things over to our next speaker, Commissioner Pinter.
Thank you, Commissioner Henson. I'm Emma Pinter, and similar to the last several comments you've heard from my colleagues on the commission, I'm thrilled to be here this evening, and I can't wait to hear your questions. The last several months have been filled with changes, particularly at the federal level, and that's affecting all of us at all levels of government and in community. I know many of you likely have questions about the way our country may be impacted by the things happening at the state or federal level right now, and we'll address those questions as best we can, and that's why we have so many staff with us to help answer your questions. What I'll say for now is that our commitment as a county remains to serving our residents by managing essential services, adapting to policy changes, and making strategic decisions that safeguard our community. As federal laws and policies continue to change, Adams County will comply with legal requirements. But at the same time, Adams County remains dedicated to our roots, to our residents, regardless of their background, identity, or belief. Our priority is to ensure that people rely on our services and will continue to receive the support they need. That is why we are here for as a county, and that's what we're working every day to do with this team that we assembled to answer your questions on this phone call. To make sure we have plenty of time to hear your questions, I want to pass it to our last county commissioner, Steve O'Dorisio.
Thank you, Commissioner Pinter. This is Steve O'Dorisio. I'm the guy who's been here for 2 terms and now finishing up my 3rd term. It's been an honor and privilege to work and serve the folks of Adams County. And we really want to thank you for taking time away from your family and to be on the phone with us and listening to this conversation. What I'd like to talk about is the stuff that we're facing on the economic front. Right now it's hard. These are tough times for a lot of folks, and we recognize that. Budgets are being tightened. We see increases of potential inflation, tariffs, and budget constraints that are causing some challenges across the board, both at your kitchen table as well as in local government. But our budget right now remains stable and strong because we have strong financial planning, contingency measures, and we're working hard to make sure that we're prioritizing essential services as well as making decisions that support our community in the long term. So I'm going to pass things back to our moderator so we could dive into these questions.
Let's do it. Thank you again, Commissioners. Appreciate you being here with us, as well as thousands of Adams County residents who have joined us. We're going to jump right into Q&A here, but a quick reminder, you can submit a question for Q&A by pressing 0. We've still got some of you giving us your email addresses for updates, and thanks for that. We'll keep you better updated in the future. We're going to run some polling questions, and we'll run our first poll after we take this first question from Doug in Strasburg. Hey, Doug, welcome to our call. What's your question for Adams County leadership and staff tonight?
Yeah, hi. I was wondering if you guys have quality control when it comes to, let's say, for example, striping on the roads. I've noticed lately that we've been striping roads, but it's sloppy to the extent where tires have run over the paint is not straight, and it's, you know, for a county that is second to none in snow removal, the best in the country when it comes to snow removal and maintaining our roads during the winter. When it comes to striping it's just sloppy, and I just want to know if you have any QC, quality control plans or any programs in place.
Yeah, thank you, Doug. Who can we go to for Doug's question from Strasburg?
Good afternoon. Good evening, Doug. Our Public Works Director is here, so I'm going to have Brian Staley respond.
Hi, Doug. Thank you very much for the feedback. My name is Brian Staley. I'm the Public Works Director for Adams County. First of all, I appreciate your compliment on our snow removal program. We're really proud about that. We do have a QA and QC process for our signing and striping program. We really like to make sure that everything that we do on our roadways is crisp, clean, and of the highest quality. That said, we know that when we put wet paint on the road, sometimes it gets driven over. We see that striping tire marks leaving patterning across the roadway. When that happens, we try and get out and do a reapplication of the paint. When you see those situations, we want to hear from you. And I'd really like to hear from you in the SeeClickFix that you heard about, SeeClickFix app that you heard about from Commissioner Mullica earlier, or you can get onto adcogov.org, look up our telephone number, give us a call, and we'd love to hear any feedback that you have for us anytime on the quality of our program.
Much appreciated. Thank you. And thanks to Doug for being our first caller. We're going to go ahead and run our first survey question for you folks, then we'll go to Claudia in Commerce City. So our first survey question for you is this: which of the following should be a top priority for funding in Adams County? Again, our first question is, which of the following should be a priority for funding, a top priority for funding in Adams County? Press 1 if you think it's access to human services like social support and safety net programs. Press 2 if you think it's constructing a new, secure, modern detention center to replace the outdated, dilapidated facility currently in use. Press 3 if you think the top priority for funding should be programs to address homelessness and housing security. Press 4 if you think it's enhancing, repairing, and maintaining critical infrastructure like roads and bridges. And press 5 if you think it's improving and increasing public safety efforts. So let me run through your options one more time on this first poll. Which of these do you think should be the top priority for funding in Adams County? Again, access to human services like social support and safety net, press 1. Construction of a new, secure, modern detention center to replace the outdated one, press 2. Programs to address homelessness and housing security, press 3. Enhancing, repairing, and maintaining critical infrastructure like roads and bridges, press 4. And improving and increasing public safety efforts, press 5. Go ahead and vote now, and while you're doing that, let's get Claudia up next from Commerce City. Claudia, welcome to the call. What's your question?
I was just wondering what happened to the CBDG funding for the community. I guess they don't call it minor home repair anymore, program.
Hi, Claudia. This is Commissioner Lynn Baca. Thank you so much for your call, and we have staff also standing by that can answer this question. So I'm going to start off. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development is the federal agency that oversees the Community Development Block Grant, which is the CDBG funding that you're asking about. That is where the regulations that govern how and where it can be used are made. So the CDBG program exists to support low and moderate income households and neighborhoods. However, it can sometimes be challenging to utilize these federal funds because of the restrictions. So your question specifically is about the minor home repair program. That is one of the most impactful programs, as well as the sidewalk repairs and the ADA improvements. So at this time, Matt Rivera, did you have anything that you'd like to add? Oh, I'm so sorry. I have the Director of Community, Economic, and Development, Jenny, if you have anything to add to this.
Sure. Hi, Claudia. This is Jenny Hall. So I serve as the Director of Community and Economic Development for Adams County. And the way that community development block grant funds are distributed is a formula that comes out from HUD, and it groups entities together by population size. So the funding that we receive here at the county serves residents in the unincorporated areas, as well as Brighton, North Glen, Federal Heights, and Venice. Together we make up the urban county area. Commerce City, where you're calling from, actually receives its own entitlement of CDBG dollars. So you would want to consult the Commerce City consolidated plan for how it's programmed. They may have deviated from their minor home repair funding this past year. We still see that in all of the urban county communities that I mentioned. It is a very popular program designed to make critical repairs, things like water heaters, air conditioning at times, as well as accessibility upgrades. So I don't think that program is going away in any case, but definitely reach out to the Commerce City folks and let them know that that's still a priority. We go through 5-year cycles where we establish what the community priorities are for those grant funds, and I'm sure they would be very happy to hear from you with that.
Great. Thank you so much, Jenny. Really appreciate it. So the next question that we have.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to make a real quick call. I see that we collected all of our email addresses for those of you who were waiting, and a lot of you registered for this event in advance and gave us your emails already, but if you want to give us your email address for email updates, you can go ahead and press 7 right now and give that email address to one of our operators to start getting those updates. And we have a question from one of our web registrants coming up next here, if it's okay if I bring this one in. And the question is, what do you define as success for Adams County? Again, the question is, what do you define as success for Adams County? Who can take that one on for us?
Great. Thank you so much. Again, Commissioner Baca, and I have Commissioner Pinter that's going to respond to that question.
Thank you. This is such an important question. It's something that we think about all the time, and and part of the reason we enjoy these telephone town halls, because we get to hear from you, both in the questions you ask and then your response to the poll. So it's something that we are always considering and taking to heart. For us, our success means that every resident in Adams County has the opportunity to thrive, whether that's finding a good paying job, accessing quality health care, sending kids to a great school, or feeling safe and connected in your community. That means we're building a community that works for everyone, not just today, but for the long haul. We know that concerns have been increasing every day for your concerns about affordability of lifestyle, reliable infrastructure, resilient emergency services, and we are committed in Adams County to making sure that we have the best staff available to help through any difficult times like we seem to be facing here in 2025. Success also means that people trust their local government, that Adams County feels accessible to you, that you feel heard, respected, and confident that we are working as a team to be good stewards of your tax dollars. If residents can continue to show up and raise your questions, we feel like that's a really good indicator that you're connected to us and that when we're out in the community, we're hearing from you. And success isn't about a big milestone. It's about the day-to-day progress we make towards a stronger, healthier, and more equitable community. What drives us in any environment is what it continues to drive us today.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate that answer, and thank you for those of you, again, who registered for this in advance and submitted questions in advance. We've got another one from our registrant list coming up to us next. This question is, what are the commissioners doing to prepare for the impacts of Trump's dismantling of federal departments? Who can take on this concern from one of our web registrants?
Great. Thank you so much. I'm going to have Commissioner Steve O'Dorisio respond to this one.
Thank you very much for that question. regardless of whoever's in the White House at any given time, our job as county commissioners who were elected by folks in Adams County is to continue to support our Adams County constituents. That means that we're going to be fighting for a strong, resilient, and high quality of life in our community. We're going to closely monitor any changes at the federal government, and again, this is regardless of who's in the White House, of opportunities for us to get federal funding, opportunities for us to protect existing federal funding, and also find ways in which we can also strengthen our relationships with partners in the state, nonprofits, national organizations, and other potential partners to make any dollar that we have, both Adams County dollars from our taxes or even federal dollars, go a little bit further. So as far as we're concerned, our mission has not changed. Our values have not changed, and we're going to continue to do the best we can, and we're going to roll with it with whatever comes our way. But as far as the question about dismantling federal government, yeah, there may be some changes, and we're going to continue to do the best we can to roll with that. I don't have a specific answer of specific projects because obviously if you're reading the news and watching the news, some of these things change daily. But please know that we are here and we're not changing. We don't need to necessarily change who we are or what we need to do because our voters voted us in to do those jobs.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And thanks again for the question. We'll go back to our live phone audience for this next one, and then we'll have our next survey question. Now, Zeke in Commerce City asked me to read this one. He's asking, what are you doing about cuts to health and human services, specifically West Metro community services, it sounds like is Zeke's biggest concern. Who can take this one on from Zeke in Commerce City?
Commissioner Mulliken.
All right. Thank you so much for the question, Zeke. I really appreciate it. I think that this is something that a lot of folks are concerned about right now, so I appreciate you bringing that forward. You know, a couple things that's happening, at least on the county level, is this is a situation that we're following very carefully, and we have a team of staff that are constantly monitoring the federal situation as we move forward, and so it is something that we are definitely prioritizing this year. I do want to kick it over to our Director of Health and Human Services to just highlight anything else that you'd like to bring, Katie, to the conversation.
Thank you, Commissioner. My name is Katie McDougall, and I'm the Director of Human Services here in Adams County. Thank you so much for your concern for the programs that are so important for our community. We, as Commissioner stated, are really monitoring what's occurring at the state and federal level, starting to make plans and being prepared for any shifts we might need to make so that we can be most responsive to the community's needs. We believe that with our strong community and with our strong team, we'll be able to be creative, innovative, and still meet the needs of those most vulnerable in our community. Thank you.
Thank you again. Appreciate that answer. Thank you to Zeke. Appreciate you being a part of our forum. We'll run our second polling question here. Then we've got a question lined up from Nikki in Westminster. Then we've got our first PSA of the night. I'll be making that public service announcement just to keep everybody up to speed on what's going on around Adams County. Here's our next survey question for you. So which of the following do you feel should be the second priority for funding in Adams County? We asked you your top priority first question. Now we're asking you for your second highest priority. Press 1 if it's access to human services like social support and safety net programs. Press 2 if it's constructing a new, secure, modern detention center to replace the outdated, dilapidated facility currently in use. Press 3 if it's programs to address homelessness and housing security. Press 4 if it's enhancing, repairing, and maintaining critical infrastructure like roads and bridges. And press 5 if it's improving and increasing public safety efforts. So again, what is your second highest priority for funding in Adams County? Press 1 for access to human services like social support and safety net. Press 2 for constructing a new, secure, modern detention center to replace the outdated one. Press 3 for programs to address homelessness and housing security. 4 for enhancing, repairing, and maintaining critical infrastructure like roads and bridges. And 5 for improving and increasing public safety efforts. Again, thanks everybody for voting in these polls. We'll have a few more before the end. We are going to go right to Nikki in Westminster next, though. Nikki, thank you so much for waiting. What's your question for us?
Thank you, everybody. I am born and raised in Colorado, but have only lived in Westminster for 6 years. I have seen 2 grocery stores close down and nothing reopen. and know that there's about 800 apartments ready to break ground on about 84th and Federal. We have no grocery stores between 26th and Federal and 104th and Federal. What is the plan to bring food into the ever-growing density of this neighborhood?
Hi, Nikki. This is Commissioner Kathy Henson. Thank you for this question. I live in South Thornton, and I represented South Thornton on Thornton City Council, and so I am familiar with this part of town quite well, and I do I share your question there. I understand why you're asking it. You know, those apartments going in at 84th and Federal are actually going to be in the city of Westminster, but I do understand the intersection there of Westminster and Federal Heights and unincorporated Adams, and we have North Glen nearby, and then we get into Thornton pretty close down the road there. So in the municipalities, we as the county, we can try to partner and have meetings and suggest and support our municipal partners, our municipal friends, but that development inside city limits would be left up to the individual municipalities. Now, in the unincorporated areas, when we do see increased density, we know that hopefully, and I'm going to kick it here to Jenny in Community and Economic Development in just a minute, but I can tell you what I've learned is that stores often have a checklist and a formula that they are looking for, and usually increased density and increased population makes neighborhoods more appealing. And I know it's been tough with those grocery stores having closed recently, but I'm hoping that with some revitalization in that area with that new development that we will see a partner come in there. And I'm going to toss it to Jenny Hall again to see if she can elaborate any more on that.
Sure. Thank you, Commissioner Henson. And thank you, Nikki, for the question. Everything that Commissioner Henson just said is right. There's a common adage in development that retail follows rooftops, right? So having those additional apartments come in certainly does provide a boost that grocery retailers would be looking for. But each of the major operators in that space has their own particular formulas. So what a Whole Foods might look for is slightly different than what a King Soopers might look for, or smaller format grocery stores. And so what we try to do is make sure we have good contacts with the brokers that represent those stores. We work closely with our cities and try to identify where there are pockets that are underserved and find the best match to talk to. We work together with the cities to try and put together attractive incentives, but ultimately it's very much a market decision, and grocery stores do operate with a very thin profit margin. So it's challenging, but we look forward to a lot of partnerships with Westminster as that area redevelops.
And we do definitely hear your concern, and we will monitor that situation and see what we can do and how we can be a good partner to help solve that problem.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate those answers, and thanks again for our last question coming to us from Nikki in Westy. We're going to go to our first PSA before we move on. I just want to quickly share an upcoming event hosted by Adams County that offers both a fun day out and a way to make a difference in your community. The Adams County Foster Care 5K and 1 Mile Fun Run is happening Saturday, May 3rd. It's a great chance to support local foster families, and everyone's welcome whether you run or walk. You can find out more information and sign up at adcogov.org/townhall. Again, adcogov.org/townhall. And we're going to get our next question up. This is another one coming from one of our web registrants. The question for us is, with the Adams County Jail facing serious structural issues, mold, water contamination, and overcrowding in its behavioral health unit, how does it make financial sense to continue spending $10 million annually on temporary fixes? Who can take this from one of our web registrants?
Thank you very much. That's a good question. And I'll tell you right now, one of the things that Adams County commissioners are doing are working closely with the sheriff. One of the statutory requirements is that we run a jail. Also, you'll note that we also have to meet certain standards, both jail requirements statutorily, as well as we want to make sure that the people that work in the jail and the visitors are treated ethically and also meeting all those standards. With that said, this jail is over 40 years old. And we're now at the point where it's not necessarily a capacity issue, it's a point of aging. And so the challenge that we have is making sure that we meet our statutory and ethical requirements, also trying to improve public safety. And so jails of the 21st century are going to be different than the jails of the 20th century. And part of what we have to do is make sure that we are investing in a criminal justice system that focuses on rehabilitation and as well as all the other challenges that we have. So right now, it is a challenge for us to figure out how can we best meet those needs. And so right now, we're going through the discussions of what that jail may look like. It could be anywhere from up to $900 million with certain designs, or it could be less. We don't know. We're working through those challenges right now, and we hope to have enough education and facts presented to the voters so you can see what the challenges are for us and the possible decisions that we can make as a community to address this issue.
Great job.
Much appreciated.
I'll just jump in here real quick. Commissioner Lynn Baca, I want to mention that the Board of County Commissioners, we went on a tour this afternoon of the jail. Not only does it house the inmates, but there's a number of sheriff's officers that work in the jail, contractors, attorneys that visit the jail, family that visits the jail. So as an employment center, we want to provide also a very safe place where we can keep our employees safe in the jail, and that we can really upgrade that specific space. So we have a long journey ahead of us, but we're here to support community, the jail, and then, once the incarcerated have served their time, they are also introduced back into the general population. So we want to make sure that we have services to support these folks as they get back into your neighborhoods and work here in Adams County.
Thank you, Commissioner Baca. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, for, again, participating. We are about 30 minutes into our forum, so a quick reminder here, if you have a question that you haven't already submitted, we've got lots of great questions lined up, so thanks to those of you who already have. But if you have a question to submit, press 0. If you want to give us your email address for updates, we're just finishing clearing that queue now. You can press 7 to give us your best email address to get updates from the county. And we will go to Alexander in Brighton up next here. Alexander, thanks so much for waiting. What's your question?
Hi, thanks for doing this, everyone. Let me see how to put this. So when I bought my house years ago in Brighton, my mortgage was probably $3,200 a month with the property taxes, the insurance, the mortgage. But now years later, the property taxes have gone up so much, insurance has gone up so much, the rate has gone up. And my mortgage this year is $4,900 a month. That's how much it jumped from about $3,400 to $4,900. And I know that you guys can't really control mortgage rates. And insurance you don't really have control over. But the property taxes have gone up more and more every year. And are there plans to try to reverse that, or are the property taxes just going to keep going up?
This is Steve O'Dorisio. As property taxes, I think you understand, Alex. First of all, thank you for the question. And this is a question that we're getting quite often. And as we started at the beginning when I talked about people are feeling the pinch in various ways, whether it's in the grocery store, the cost of education, the cost of insurance, and I mean other insurance. Now you're seeing it and you're pointing out the challenge that we're having for the cost of housing. And unfortunately, when it comes to property taxes, it's a function of the value. And being in a place like Adams County where everyone wants to move here, but especially in Adams County, Colorado, we're seeing that those property values are going up significantly. We have not raised the actual tax rate. In fact, actually, the rate actually went down after legislation over the last couple of years to the point that the rate went down. The problem is that for families is that the values keep going up. And there are some other options that we have that I will let Commissioner Mullica mention, is that we do have some exemptions for seniors, but if you don't fit one of those things, I will tell you the other challenge that we're also seeing is the increase of insurance. So it's kind of a double whammy. The insurance industry was hit really, really hard in Colorado with some of the fires and other disasters. So we're filling it across the board. In order to address that issue, even though we may not be able to lower the actual values of your property, which would upset a lot of people, we are trying to find different ways to lower the overall cost of living in Adams County, and that's investing in community amenities, parks, trails, open space. We're trying to invest in quality of life. We have lots of events like the county fair, other things that are affordable that might be able to help you cut into that those burdens of high cost of living. That doesn't necessarily get you exactly where you're probably wanting to go, but I'm telling you that if we can work together on those shared amenities and those types of things, we're hoping to help lower some of the cost of living here and be part of this wonderful community.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. So my name is Julie Duran-Mollica, and I am one of the newly elected commissioners on this board. Now, one of the things that actually I heard a lot about when I was campaigning for this seat last year, and I met this amazing older couple who brought me into their home, and they talked about the rising cost of property taxes, and they talked about how they were worried about being priced out of their home. So I wanted to, first of all, just thank those community members who shared their story with me, especially for our seniors. I understand that, you know, the property tax policies, you know, including exemptions and who qualifies for them is set at the state level. So that means we could definitely advocate for you and especially provide this feedback and share your stories with our state legislators. And one of the things that I do encourage all of our seniors to do is reach out to our assessor's office directly and make sure that you know if you're qualifying for some of the existing exemptions or programs. We definitely don't want those folks to be missing those opportunities. But again, continue to share those stories with us because we are sending them on to our state legislators and hoping and advocating for them to expand some of those senior exemption programs and opportunities. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate that answer, and thank you again to Alexander for being a part of our forum here. Now, we did just finish collecting email addresses from all of those of you who wanted to give us an email address to get updates, but we also have staff standing by if you just need a phone number or the email address for a given Adams County department. So if you need any resources from Adams County, you just need a phone number or the email address to email a given department. Again, we have virtually every department represented here. You can press 7, speak to one of our operators, let them know what department you're trying to get in touch with, and they'll give you the phone number and or the email address for reaching out to that Adams County department. So 7, if you need that or any of the other phone numbers or websites we've mentioned today to be repeated. And we're going to go right to our next question. This one comes to us from Charles. Charles, welcome, and what's your question?
Hi, thank you all. I have a two-part question in regards to the area around the seemingly heavy trafficked intersection of Pecos and Highway 36. This may apply to others also. The first part is homelessness and panhandling. The second part is property upkeep, namely the front of property, both for residential and commercial, and I'm referring to trash in people's front yards, vehicles parked in yards, general lack of quality neighborhood characteristics.
Jeffrey, thank you so much for that. This is Commissioner Emma Pinter. This is a question we get a lot of, and it's Charles. I apologize. We were looking at our queue. Sorry, Charles. You are right. Pecos and Highway 36 is certainly an area of concentration and concern. We have a number of programs. You can always use the SeeClickFix app to report things to us. We do, with 1,000 square miles, rely on our residents to report things to us. We also work with a robust code enforcement team and to help people who may not have the resources to resolve their own issues. Something has gotten too big for a senior, single parent to handle on their own. We also have cleanup days and tool sheds available for rental for the community or for a neighborhood. I've got Matt Rivera, our head of community safety and well-being, up here as well to help describe some of these programs, both on the code enforcement and to help residents out when they have a cleanup job that's just too big for them.
Hi, Charles. Yes, Matt Rivera with Community Safety and Well-Being. Thank you again for calling in with your question. We do have property maintenance standards that you can definitely find on our website should you have any questions. But please use that SeeClickFix. Go ahead and give our office a ring at any time. We're happy to go out, educate, and work with our residents to make sure that we're all maintaining our yards properly. In regards to some of the services we offer, we're very proud to be one jurisdiction that has a tool shed program that allows individuals to access free tools, and we will deliver, clean, and maintenance those tools. They just have to go to our website and reserve one of the tools of their choosing.
Ian, we can't hear you.
Apologies. We've got Loretta lined up next here. Let me go ahead and bring her live. Loretta from DuPont, welcome to the call. What's your question for us?
My question is, what services are we accessible to? Are we part of the county? Are we what's our ward? I don't understand any of that. Don't ever know how to access any kind of service or any communication. And I'm not the only one that feels that way, and it's not a disgruntled kind of thing. We just don't know. If I should need, for instance, someone to monitor cars that don't have plates on them and traffic running down the street here with children on bicycles and whatnot, how do we access any services in unincorporated DuPont?
Loretta, this is Commissioner Kathy Henson. Thank you for your question. Yeah, I was at a neighborhood meeting in unincorporated Adams County a couple of weeks ago. I've heard a lot of the same questions. Just to clarify, that the county is not actually, we're not a water provider or a trash service provider, but in terms of code enforcement, like Matt was speaking about a minute ago, you can contact the county and our code enforcement department. Also, the group I was talking about at the beginning of the call, SPARK, our Strategic Partnerships and Resilient Communities group, they can also assist with existing community groups or establishing community or neighborhood groups to help talk about neighborhood cleanups and to raise awareness among you and for you and your neighbors about what to do to help improve maintenance in your neighborhood. That we do care about that. We know that well-maintained neighborhoods look nicer and feel safer, and that's definitely what we are striving for. And so I'm actually going to ask Matt to address this again because, and code enforcement is something I want you to know also that our Board of Commissioners is going to be discussing about what we can do and looking at how we can give our department the tools they need to really be responsive to community needs in this area. And so, Matt, please, if you could elaborate on anything else.
Yeah, thank you again for calling in. Just to be clear, from a public safety perspective, if you're in the unincorporated area, you will be calling the sheriff's office for any of those concerns. When it comes to maybe property maintenance or neighborhood beautification, you can absolutely access our service team through our website, or you could use SeeClickFix, or you could give us a call on our phone number, and all of this will be made available at adcogov.org/townhall, and it'll be updated live, so you'll be able to see this stuff populated as we move through the evening.
All right. Thank you so much, and really appreciate you, Loretta. And Loretta, if you need any phone numbers or email addresses for any county departments, press 7. Speak to one of our operators and get that from them. We're going to run our third survey question for you. This one we're asking, how do you prefer to interact with county officials? Press 1 if it's telephone town halls. Press 2 if it's in-person town halls. Press 3 if it's webinars or online meetings. Press 4 if it's social media updates. And press 5 if it's emails or phone calls. So again, how do you prefer to interact with county officials? Press 1 if it's telephone town halls like this one. 2 for in-person town halls. 3 for webinars or online meetings. 4 for social media updates. And 5 if it's email or phone calls. And if you prefer to communicate via email and you haven't already signed up for email updates from Adams County, press 7 here. Give us your best email address so that we can keep you consistently updated on the things that affect you as an Adams County resident. So again, 7 for that, 0 for a question for Q&A. We're going to jump right to our next caller here. We've had Jeffrey waiting for a minute here. Jeffrey, thanks so much. Go ahead, please.
Hello, everybody. This is my first little phone town hall. I think this is super cool that you guys are doing it, and I think we need more of this in the country. My question, I am new to Adams County, and I actually happen to be a homeless, disabled veteran, and I spoke with the VA last year who put me in Baker School Apartments, which, needless to say, I felt the urge to carry Narcan with me because of some of the other people that were there. And I had actually asked about Brighton because with being homeless, I check out a lot of areas, and Brighton has a very calm energy to it that I think is much more healthy for disabled veterans. But they told me that I wasn't allowed to live in Brighton. So I was trying to see what the actual opinion of that was. Are we keeping out certain people from Brighton? If so, why is that?
Great. Thank you so much. This is Commissioner Julie Duran-Mullica. And thanks, Jeffrey, for hanging in there with us and asking this question. Now, of course, Brighton and almost, I think, every municipality in Adams County now has work that they're doing around homelessness. And so I'm not specific on what Brighton is doing. We definitely could reach out to the Brighton City Council to learn more about their program. But what I wanted to do is actually talk about what Adams County is doing, specifically for the Built for Zero program that we have going on. And I have the head of community and safety wellbeing, Matt Rivera, here again to jump in and provide us a little bit more information about the work that Adams County is doing specifically for homeless veterans.
Yeah, thank you for calling in, Jeffrey, and thank you very much for your service. We are a part of the Built for Zero program, which means we are striving every day to reach functional zero when it comes to veterans experiencing homelessness or any unhoused situation. When you talk about what we have done, we are very proud to say we work individually with all veterans experiencing homelessness, and we actually know that our number is at 9 right now in Adams County of the almost 4,000 people that we have accessing our services. And what I would suggest to you is if you're willing to stay on the call and talk to our moderator, you can share your information. We'll get in touch with you. There are some folks that are working at Brighton. We're proud to say that everyone in Adams County has dedicated outreach staff that they can connect with. We also have a Human Services Veterans line. We'll go ahead and make available on the website, the adcogov.org/town hall. So we'll get that number on there as well. But thank you so much again for your service and for calling in.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate that. So I would just encourage you to stay on the line and please personally share your information with the moderator. And I'm from Brighton, so I got to stand up for my little town of Brighton. It's probably more of a programming situation than it is that we're not serving our homeless. Or our veterans. I apologize. I just did an event last week with the Brighton Housing Authority. They're remodeling some of their apartments there, so it's probably just a matter of access and programming than anything else. But thank you so much for the call.
Yeah, appreciate it. And we've got your contact information there, Jeffrey. We'll flag you for follow-ups if someone with the county will reach out to you. And Loretta, out there in DuPont in unincorporated Adams County, we've got you flagged for follow-up from the county as well. So you can both expect a call. And again, thank you for reporting your issues to us tonight. We are going to go to our next question in a moment, but we've got our second PSA first. And it actually already came up a little bit earlier. We were talking about the tool shed support for county residents. So another great resource for Adams County residents is the Tool Shed program, which offers free access to yard and garden tools to help you maintain your property or even help out your neighbor. You can borrow tools for your own yard work or for larger neighborhood cleanups. It's a simple way to take pride in your community, learn more, and find out how to reserve the tool shed at adcogov.org/toolshed. townhall. Again, adcogov.org/townhall. And glad that resource is available, and we got to mention it here. Let's go right to our next question from Tara in Thornton. Tara, welcome from Thornton. What's your question for us?
Thank you much, and thank you, commissioners and department reps, for creating this. I think this is fabulous. My question is, and it's just my lack of information in the area, but what is Adams County doing as far as the opioid crisis? Being one of the most prolific epidemics of our time, and I want to keep this broad because I'm hoping it's a multifaceted approach, and most specifically, what are we doing proactively is what I'd love to hear about. Thank you.
All right, Tara. My name is Steve Odorizio, and I'm going to tell you that Adams County has been kind of at the lead on this as best as we can over the last 10 years. I will, most recently, under the leadership of Attorney General Phil Weiser, he helped us get, as the state of Colorado, over $870 million from the opioid settlement with some of the bad actors that occurred, that acted up nationally. But he helped us get, in Colorado alone, $871 million that will be collected over the next few years. What's happened is that he also worked with local governments, and we have established the Adams County Opioid Abatement Council under the leadership of Brighton City Council member Peter Badia and Dr. Kelly Weidbach from our health department. They've established this group and led this group, and in 2023, we distributed $2.7 million to 9 of our partners, and in 2024, $3.8 million to 13 of our partners. Now, when you ask about proactive, I will tell you that the spectrum of challenges also have invited us to address the spectrum of solutions. So the proactive side of the spectrum is try to prevent, to be proactive and prevent people from needing interaction or even getting addicted at all or overdosing. On the other end of the spectrum, we have implemented and helped fund medication-assisted treatment. That includes in our jail. It includes also in the health department, has places for people to go seek treatment. And all those things that I mentioned earlier from this Adams County Opioid Abatement Council is going to continue to work with community partners to try to address solutions and try to invest everything from the proactive prevention all the way to harm reduction that will hopefully save more lives. Please look up Adams County Opioid Abatement Council. You can also see there was an article in the Denver Gazette 3 days ago about our efforts. So look up Opioid Denver Gazette, and you will see a whole summary of things, and those will take you to different links where you can get even more information. And Tara, thank you so much for that question.
Absolutely. Appreciate you so much, Tara. Thank you very much, and thank you for the answer as well. We're going to go to another question from one of our web registrants next. That question is, what steps are being taken to ensure more community members are engaged and involved in local decision-making? Again, what steps are being taken to ensure more community members are engaged and involved in local decision-making?
This is such a great question. I'm glad that we have an opportunity to talk about our budget process. We as the commissioners have the responsibility under statutory obligations to not only provide the services to our community that we're responsible to make sure that our clerk and recorder is fully funded to run elections and to run the services of the clerk's office, the assessor, the treasurer, the sheriff, and the district attorney, as well as our coroner. And we work really hard with all of those different departments to make sure that their needs are accounted for, documented, and included in the budget, which we all take really seriously. There are resources available on our website, and just to make it easy, if you want to hear any of the things that we have referenced during this telephone town hall, you can go to adcogov.org/townhall, and we'll have some information about the budget and some of the other things we've referenced this evening so that you can learn how to engage with the budget and how to view it and what our timeline is for this year's budget. I'm going to pass it over to Dion, one of our deputy county managers who supervises the budget process.
Hi there, Dion Shore, Deputy County Manager. If you're interested in the budget process, every year we do start working on the next year's budget. In the springtime, we are getting ready to start working on our proposals for the budget for the year. We are keeping a close eye on the state budget and the federal budget as well, and the impact that they may have to the county and how they may shift our priorities in our budget making. If you are interested in sharing information or coming to a public hearing and learning more about what we're doing, that's a good way to make your voice heard. We will be presenting the budget later in the fall, and it's another opportunity for you to weigh in and give your voice to what we eventually land on with our budget. So coming up later in the fall, around October, is when we finalize the budget, and we'll have a lot more work going on between now and then as we figure out the budget for the coming year. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you again. Appreciate that question coming to us from a web registrant. We have one more web registrant question lined up next here. This is from one of our Spanish simulcast participants, so thanks to those of you who are listening in Spanish tonight. The question is, I have a question. What are you doing for the Hispanic immigrant community in Adams County? Who can take this one on for a listener in our Spanish simulcast?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Julie Duran Molica, so happy to take this question. Thanks for sending this in. I think it's a really important conversation because, immigrants make up a huge part of Adams County. And so we're committed to making sure all residents, regardless of background or immigration status, feel seen, supported, and included. One of the ways we're doing this is making our services more accessible. That includes offering materials and meetings in Spanish, hiring bilingual staff, and working with trusted community organizations to serve immigrant refugee families directly. We know language and trust can be barriers, and we're working to remove them. We also created a new office, which you've heard about already on this call. Our Strategic Partnerships and Resilient Communities, SPARK team, has focused on building stronger relationships with historically underserved communities. They're out and about in the community. They're out and about in our neighborhoods listening and connecting with people to find resources like housing, mental health support, workforce training, all of the above. Finally, we advocate for fair policies at the state and federal levels. We know immigrant families contribute so much to our economy and our culture, and we're proud to support efforts that protect their rights and opportunities. Of course, this is ongoing work. We want to keep hearing from the community about what's working and what's not. So please feel free to continue to reach out to us and let us know how we can better serve each of these communities. I'm going to kick it over to our, again, Director Matt Rivera. Do you have anything to add to that?
Actually, Commissioner, you nailed it right on the head. I think that we need to point you in the direction of our Strategic Partnership and Resilient Communities organization, or service area within our organization. So definitely go access that page and make contact with those folks.
Perfect. Thank you again. Appreciate you all, and thanks for that question from our Spanish simulcast. We'll go to James in unincorporated Adams County next, then we'll have our fourth survey question for you right up after that. James, thank you for waiting. What's your question for us?
Yeah, I'm concerned about the traffic on Lowell from 52nd to 64th and a lot of speeding. And I live in the Berkeley neighborhood, and if you come home from the grocery store or something, you make a turn, people don't even slow down. They'll go around you across the double rail line. They don't even slow down for the railroad tracks. And it's all the way to 64th. Just crazy.
Thank you so much, James, for your question. This is a really important corridor. And, as the county continues to grow, we have some programs in place. And so I just want to point out initially that we'll loop in the sheriff's office on some traffic enforcement. But I wanted to start off that we have a traffic calming program. So if you can go to our website as well, and we have a staff member standing by to answer your question today. But our website is adcogov.org/traffic-safety. So our public staff works, if you send it to there, they will review the challenges in your neighborhood. And this goes for any neighborhood in unincorporated Adams County. They will evaluate options to address the issues like education efforts, visual calming tools, for other physical devices such as speed bumps, which we get a lot of requests for, and we also get some requests for signage. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our Public Works Director, Brian Staley.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate your concern about traffic safety in Adams County. We have a staff pool of team members that are equally concerned and passionate about traffic safety and making sure that you all can move through the county as safely as possible. down at the south end of the corridor that you referenced near 52nd and Lowell, there's an elementary school, and we secured recently a Safe Routes to School grant to relocate a traffic signal to help students cross the street there safely ever since the school was renovated and reconstructed on the site. So we're paying attention to this area. We're investing as a county in Lowell Boulevard and in the community. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us as you see things happening in your neighborhoods. The direct line for Public Works is 720-523-6875. We'll call you back, and we take traffic safety very seriously. So thank you very much for the question.
Yeah, and appreciate the answers. Thanks, everybody. We're going to go to our fourth polling question. Then we've got Danielle in Westminster. She's asked me to read her question. Then we'll be going to our next public service announcement. Our fourth of 5 polling questions for you is this. What would make you most likely to participate in an in-person town hall? Press 1 if it's at a convenient time of day or day of the week for you. Press 2 if it's most important that the discussion be about issues that you care about. Press 3 if it's offering food. Press 4 if it's offering childcare. And press 5 if it's at a location that's easy for you to get to. So again, what would make you the most likely to participate in an in-person town hall? Press 1 if it's just having it at a convenient time of day and a convenient day of the week for you. Press 2 if it's a discussion that you care about, on an issue that you care about. Press 3 if it's offering food. Press 4 if it's offering childcare. And press 5 if it just matters most that it's at a location that's easiest for you to get to. Go ahead and vote in that poll question now. We will have one more before the end. And we're going to get Danielle up next, who's asked me to read this from Westminster. Danielle's asking, can you give me an example of a program that was paid for with residents' taxpayer dollars that has a positive impact on the county, and how did you determine the benefit? Can you give me a specific example, like with well-being stats such as homelessness reduction, education improvement, etc.? So again, Danielle's looking for a specific example of a program that was paid for with residents' taxpayer dollars that had a positive impact on the county and the community. Who can take this one for Danielle?
This is such a great question, Danielle. This is Commissioner Emma Pinter. And just for reference, everything that I'm going to cite is included in our Community and Safety Wellbeing Annual Report from 2024. It is a thick document that we put together, and we'll make sure it's available for you at adcogov.org/townhall. So anyone listening wants to look at it. It's full of examples of programs just like you're calling out, which also talks about a graffiti removal program and includes charts and graphs about a significant reduction. For example, in Q1, we had over 1,000 instances of graffiti, and then it shows in Q4 for 2024, we were down to 245. And it moves through different programs looking at ways that they are improving the lives of our residents, such as the LIFT Concierge Program, which we use for residents experiencing domestic violence. We were able to provide over 1,400 rides to people experiencing homelessness and familial breakdown. You're going to see all kinds of different programs from veteran services to homeless resolution team, to encampment resolution, to making sure that we're strengthening neighborhoods and providing resources to community people. Like, for example, even our block party trailer, which any resident can reserve, it's free to you. We saw a 150% increase in reservations, promoting community connectivity, neighborhood gatherings, all those things that we know keep our community safe. All these statistics are available in our Community and Safety Wellbeing 2024 Annual Report, which you can find at adcogov.org/townhall. We'll drop it in there. We also have similar reports from our health department, which is just coming up on 2 years old, which keeps a tremendous amount of data. They have a data-driven decision-making model for how they fund programs to ensure what they're doing actually serves community, from WIC, women, infant, and children, and nurse-family partnerships, vaccination programs, all kinds of things that actually serve community members and make them healthier. You can also see all kinds of things that we do with our Parks and Rec programs that serve community and make community connectivity stronger. I don't know if any staff have any additional things to add, but I really love this question because it's the question we bring every budget cycle. How does this program actually serve community?
So I'll chime in with an example from our Road and Bridge Fund. This is Brian Staley with the Public Works Department. In 2023, the county was hit by record rainfall. We saw 100% of our annual rainfall by June of 2023. It washed out bridges and roads all across eastern Adams County. We mobilized Herculean efforts in our operations team and our engineering team to recover in the county. East 144th Avenue, we mobilized a bridge reconstruction effort in just 18 months that helped residents connect from east to west through the county, mitigating a 20-mile detour around the roadways connecting that the bridge helped connect neighbors through. So that is another example of discrete, measurable benefit to the residents of Adams County using their taxpayer dollars.
We also have Byron, who's in charge of parks, trails, open space, arts. Can you go ahead and describe some of the things that you're working on?
I can speak to many things thank you, Commissioner, from our events to capital projects that are enhancing our parks. But I would like to speak specifically to our open space grants program, which since instituted and supported by the commissioners and then voted in by the voters in the year 2000, reauthorized in 2020. We have put over $300 million in grants to the various communities within Adams County to enhance parks, trails, and open space properties.
All right. Thank you so much. Superb question, Danielle. Really appreciate that one. Thank you for being a part of our forum tonight from Westminster. We're going to go to our next PSA, but one last call here for email updates from the county. If you want to get information like these public service announcements, information on public forums, you can sign up for that e-newsletter and get kept updated via email. So a last call here, if you want to get signed up for that e-newsletter, press 7. Give us your best email address. So our next public service announcement is this. It's about cleanup days. So before we take another question, we have this great resource to share for Adams County residents. The county is offering 3 free neighborhood cleanup events this spring in the Berkeley, Dahlia, and Strasburg neighborhoods. You can drop off yard waste, tree branches, and other debris at one of 3 convenient locations across the county. Just a heads up items like electronics, paint, hazardous waste, not going to be accepted, but for full details, including dates and locations, you can visit that same website we've been mentioning all night, adcogov.org/townhall. Again, adcogov.org/townhall. And again, last call for emails. Press 7, get us that email address so we can keep you updated moving forward. And we're going to roll right along to Carl next, joining us also from Westminster. Carl, you're live. Go ahead, please, sir.
Hi, thank you again for operating this. It's great to be here with everyone. My question revolves around how Colorado at large and Adams County are also seeing an eviction crisis. And I wanted to see what the county is working on as far as maybe continuing rental assistance projects or other interventions to help people dealing with this unprecedented level of eviction.
Carl, thank you. This is Steve O'Dorisio, and something that we've been working on for years, even before COVID hit, and it was also, we amplified it after COVID hit us pretty hard, was to really make sure that we could do the best we can to keep people in their homes while also finding opportunities for them to make sure they don't have evictions on their records. Some of the things that we started doing even before COVID was investing in the Colorado Legal Services Eviction Defense. And you could go learn more by logging in to or checking out the website at coloradolegalservices.org and see that program. In addition, for the mobile home community, we have partnered with the Colorado Poverty Law Project to help provide the same type of eviction defense. In addition to those situations where you get that far, to try to be more proactive in the situation, we have implemented a landlord-tenant mediation program, and we hand out a resource guide. That those last 2 items, I'm going to ask Matt Rivera to give a little bit more detail on the resource guide and the landlord-tenant mediation program that are just some of the other ways that we're trying to help keep people in their homes.
Hi, Carl. You're absolutely correct that we're seeing eviction numbers steadily increase, and it's something that we pay attention to very closely. We work with the court systems to get lists regularly of individuals that are facing eviction, and we have a resource guide that the courts have agreed to place in all mail-out information regarding eviction that will give access to free or reduced costs or fees for eviction prevention services. You can also go out and look for some emergency rental assistance that's still available through some organizations, but we are proud to say that our tenant landlord mediation program served over 400 people last year, and more than 50% of those did result in a positive outcome that avoided eviction, and that again came at no cost to the person facing eviction.
All right, thank you again. Appreciate everybody there, and thank you for our last question from Carl. We're going to go to Justin next, and then we'll have our last survey question for you. You'll be able to vote on that on your phone. Justin, welcome. And it looks like you want me to read this one. Your question is there a program for me to put together a team to pick up litter in my area? Also, are there grants or public assistance for this? And also, thank you for putting this forum together. Well, thank you, Justin. Who can take this on for Justin looking to put together a team to pick up litter in his neighborhood?
Hey, Justin, this is Commissioner Kathy Henson. Thank you for this question. I am so heartened by several people asking tonight how to take care of their neighborhoods, how the county can help them, and I love your question. The short answer is yes. You can put together a group to work on picking up litter in your neighborhood. That's what our new SPARK team, Strategic Partnerships and Resilient Communities, can help you do, is establish a neighborhood group. And we do have some funding available through our Neighborhood Community Fund, and you can apply for some funds to help fund that cleanup. And that's going to also remind us of the tools that we can borrow, that can be borrowed from the county. But you can put together a fun little neighborhood event with some grant funding if you qualify for that, apply for that through SPARK, and host a cleanup in your own neighborhood, which would be fabulous. The more neighborhood community groups we have, we really weave a nice tapestry or build a safety net that keeps our community safe and clean. And so I just want to remind you to use SPARK. We also have the C-Click Fix app to reach out to code and highlight other areas in our neighborhoods that need to be cleaned up. And I'm going to let Matt give us another quick rundown of the other available supports we have for this. Thank you, Matt.
Good evening, Justin. As you heard earlier on our PSA, we do have the Toolshed program, and that is often used for large groups. You can actually rent out the entire Toolshed for several days, and we will deliver that to you, make it accessible to you. It comes with trash bags, trash pickers, trash cans, and also all the lawn and maintenance tools that you could possibly utilize. So if you were to want to organize something like that, you can just go ahead and go onto our website and secure the Toolshed. We're proud to say we have 2 Toolsheds now, and you could even celebrate by using our block party trailer afterward.
Thank you, Matt. I will just add that our website is adcogov.org/townhall. And then we also have our Director of Parks, Open Space, and Cultural Arts going to respond.
Thank you, Commissioner Baca. And yes, Justin, that's a great question. Another way you could pick up litter in your community is if you want to clean up a park, open space, or trail. You can go to the website at adcogov.org/parks. and click on the Adopt a Spot, and you'll see all kinds of information about how to get signed up for a small group to a large group, however you want to do it, and we also supply you with everything you need to make it happen.
Thank you, Byron.
Yeah, really appreciate everybody. And, of course, thank you, Justin. Very much appreciate you being a part of our forum, and great question. And we'll be talking about the block party trailer as one of our last PSAs in just a moment before the end here. But I do want to get in our 5th and final survey question. We've got a couple of questions after that from our live audience. Our next question for you, though, is which Adams County special event is your favorite to attend? Press 1 if it's Pride. Press 2 if it's Stars and Stripes. Press 3 if it's the Adams County Fair. Press 4 if it's Festival Latino. And press 5 if you have not yet attended an Adams County special event. So again, which Adams County special event is your favorite to attend? Press 1 for Pride, 2 for Stars and Stripes, 3 for Adams County Fair, 4 for Festival Latino, 5 if you have not yet attended an Adams County special event. And we do have about 15 minutes left in our forum. We're going to take questions right until the end. Before we wrap up our call, but we do have a few minutes left if you wanted to sign up for those email updates by pressing 7 so that you can be kept updated on these types of events moving forward. We're going to get to our next question. This is another one that came from our web registrant audience, so I'll go ahead and read it. The question is, my question is regarding mine and my wife's Medicaid, which is going to be disqualified in May of 2025 without any clear reason. The letter we got from Adams County Human Services says that we are over our income, and I'm wondering why. Who can clear this up for one of our web registrants listening on the call today?
Thank you. This is Commissioner Kathy Henson. I can start addressing this very important question. We know this hits a lot of Adams County residents. 1 in 3 of our residents currently is receiving some type of support, including Medicaid, and it hits near and dear to the hearts of all of us on the Board of County Commissioners and our staff. During the public health emergency time period coming out of COVID, recipients into receiving this benefit with no administrative requirements to continue to receive your Medicaid. After the public health emergency was declared ended, we are required now by the federal government and its regulations to review eligibility for everyone. And this also required that each person provide certain paperwork to the county for us to process. And we do acknowledge that this change may have caught some people off guard. And I'm going to ask Katie McDougall, our head of Human Services, to let everybody know how they can contact us and what next steps they can take.
Thank you, Commissioner Henson. Yes, we're here to support you, so please contact us at 720-523-2700, and we can try, or you can try our new live chat online if that's something that you prefer. If we aren't able to help with Medicaid, there are other resources that we believe that we'll be able to help connect you with, so please reach out. We're here. We hope to hear from you soon.
All righty, thank you again. Appreciate that question very much. We're going to go to Tamia in Thornton up next here, who's asked me to read her question. It is, I'm concerned about the federal freezes and how it will affect CCAP. Can someone give maybe a little bit of background so the rest of our audience is caught up to Tamia's question, and take this one on from Tamia in Thornton?
Yes. Hi, Tamia. Thank you so much for that question. This is Commissioner Julie Duran-Mullica, and I think that this is a really important question because it's impacting so many families across Adams County and, frankly, the entire metro area. So CCAP is a really important program because it helps low-income families afford childcare so that parents could go to work or go to school. There has been some federal and state changes to this program that have made it really difficult for counties to continue to accept more families and enroll them. So Adams County is currently, along with I think all of the metro area counties at this point, on a freeze, and we do have a wait list. And so one of the things I think, I'm going to have our Human Services Director, Katie McDougall, jump in here in just a second, but one of the things that I want you to know is just from a commissioner perspective, we are actively advocating on both the federal and the state level for these families and for, a better outcome than what we currently have. So there's a lot of advocacy happening behind the scenes, but I am going to kick it off to our Human Services Director, Katie McDougall, just to give you a little bit more insight on where we are today and where we're hoping to go.
Thank you, Commissioner Mullica. Yes, as you stated, we are on a freeze like all of the metro counties, and we're hopeful that with the advocacy of our board that we will receive additional state funding through this legislative process, as well as hopefully be able to at least educate on the importance of child care to our federal delegation. I encourage you to still submit an application. So even though we are on a wait list, if that wait list or that freeze is to at some point be funded in a different way, we are working those applications, and we want to be able to be in touch with you. So please please just come and apply for us so that we can work with you.
Thank you again. Appreciate that. Let's go to our next to last public service announcement next year. Then we've got John up live from Westminster. So I want to talk about the Block Party Trailer. Speaking of community involvement, we're going to take a moment to mention an amazing program at Adams County that focuses on building a stronger, more connected community, one neighborhood at a time. Residents in unincorporated Adams County can reserve our free Block Party Trailer loaded with yard games, sports gear, and more to help throw an unforgettable party and build lasting relationships in their neighborhoods. Warmer days are almost here, so visit adco.gov.org/townhall for more information about the Block Party Trailer and every other resource you might have heard about tonight. So again, that website one more time, adco.gov.org/townhall. And we're going to go to John live in Westminster next. John, thanks so much for waiting. You're live.
Thank you for taking my question tonight. I appreciate it. The last time I've received a call like this has been over 4 years, and these are extremely beneficial town hall phone calls, so I wish that you guys carry these on going forward like they used to be done with regularity. My question is in regards to the county jail and Adams County Sheriff's Department. Both have been severely underfunded and understaffed for many years. I'm a prime example living in Shaw Heights, unincorporated Westminster, where a kid got shot 6 times in front of my driveway a few years ago, and there's just not enough staff. The usual response time from Adams County Sheriffs to this area is about 10 minutes to 20 minutes, 10 minutes being somebody got shot emergency, 20 minutes being not somebody bleeding to death. And I talk to the sheriff's deputies on a regular basis, and they have been always telling me that if you want better services, call the county commissioners and board and address your concerns with them. This is the first time I'm addressing this, but I would really love to hear an all-around answer, because I hear a lot of funding going to a lot of different areas, but I hear nothing whatsoever about supporting the Sheriff's Department and the safety of us and the residents of this area, which the crime here is completely out of control. We live in a limbo land area here, but I drive all around Adams County, and there is no proactive policing. There is usually no police officers in sight with any regularity. And that needs to change because it's completely unsafe. What can you and will you do about it to address this issue that has been completely ignored for at least a decade plus?
Good evening, John. It's Commissioner Lynn Baca, and I'm going to start a response to your question, and we also have staff here. So last week, the full board of Adams County Commissioners, we did attend the award ceremony for the Adams County Sheriff's Office, along with members of our staff. So this board is in full support of the sheriff. Public safety, well, we are not the enforcers, or we don't regulate the public safety. We are the funders for public safety. And as I meet with community members, I'm in my hometown or I'm out and about, public safety, including my own family, is really top of mind for everyone. So I really appreciate the question. So we are working with the Adams County Sheriff, Sheriff Gene Claps. As I mentioned earlier on the call, so if you're just joining us, the Board of County Commissioners, along with the Sheriff's Office, we did do a tour. We were there for 4 hours just this afternoon. We are legally obligated to do this tour to look at the conditions of the jail, the needs of the jail, the inmates, and as I had mentioned earlier, it's an employment center for the Sheriff's Office team. So I'm going to start with the Sheriff's Office first of all, especially those that are at the jail, that it's their regular duty and it's part of their course of work, is that we look at all of our employees. We want to offer them a safe place to work. That's really top of mind as employers, which we are. We run Adams County as a business. And then the other thing is the condition of the jail, and it really is an aging issue for the jail. It's a facility that is 40 years old. It is used 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, so it gets a lot of wear and tear. At the time that it was built, it predates the American Disabilities Act, so ADA. So we have some decisions that we need to make as a county. Some of those decisions are going to be likely presented to constituents as well as we look at this journey of the jail and how do we address an aging facility. But I'm going to ask our Deputy County Manager team to also go ahead and respond. Thank you for staying on the line, and then I'm going to let our Deputy County Manager, Kristen Sullivan, also jump in here.
Hi, John. Thank you for your call. I want to let you know that the jail has certainly been recognized as a significant and very high priority project for the commissioners to address. We've been spending a lot of time over the last several years evaluating the need and exploring various options, working closely with the sheriff to find the right solution to find a long-lasting next phase for how we will have a detention facility in our community that meets not only the current but the projected needs for our community. The commissioners, as you heard earlier today, spent 4 hours on a tour of the jail today together with the sheriff, and we're taking this very seriously. We're currently researching and evaluating various funding mechanisms. The need that exists today does exist our current resources, and so we're looking into various options. A decision has not been made yet, but one funding solution may include a mill property tax increase, and if that were to be referred to the voters would have the opportunity to determine if they choose to see this as a high priority. If that were to be something referred to the voters, it would be the first time that the county asked the voters for such property tax increase to address these needs. We'll be working with our municipal partners, community members, law enforcement, and the sheriff over the next several months to determine if this is the right option to ask voters for to weigh in here, and we'll be looking at all various options and alternatives along the way. So thank you for calling in and expressing that you see this as a priority.
Much appreciated, everyone, and thank you again to John and Westminster for being a part of our forum. We've got about 4 minutes left. We're going to try to get through just a couple of quick questions here. Now, we've received a question from a community member asking, what does the county do to keep residents informed in case of an emergency like a wildfire or a flood? Who can we go to for the answer to this question?
We have a lot of different ways for residents to get information during an emergency, but the best way to stay informed is to sign up for Code Red. Code Red sends important information straight to your phone or email during emergencies like a flood, severe weather, wildfire, or public safety threats. Signing up is easy. It's at adcogov.org/Code Red. This will also be listed on our main adcogov.org/town hall, which is going to have all of our websites that we've listed for this town hall. When you go to the Code Red site, you're going to select your jurisdiction where you live or do business and register. That way you're prepared if a disaster strikes in your area. We work with the sheriff and our emergency operations team to make sure that those messages are timely and helpful, and the best time to sign up is now, not in the middle of an emergency. So please register with Code Red.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's get another one in here. We're going to take this question that we've received from one of our web registrants. The question is, life is busy. It's hard to keep up with everything happening with every government agency that impacts my family. What's the best way to stay updated on what my county is doing? Who can take this question from a web registrant?
Hi, this is Commissioner Kathy Henson. I'm happy to answer this. Our teams are always trying to find ways to help our community updated without making it feel like extra work to find the information, because who needs extra work? We are on most major social media channels like Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and Nextdoor, and we recently launched a brand new podcast called All in Adams. The podcast is designed to help our residents stay in touch with the programs, services, and people in Adams County, and to show them how their tax dollars are being used. Of course, the best thing about podcasts is that you can tune into them wherever and whenever works best for you. So please look for All in Adams on podcast and YouTube, and find out more about how to stay updated at adcogov.org/town hall.
All right. Thank you so much. And folks, we are just about out of time here. So I've got one more PSA for you, then we'll go ahead and wrap up. And I did just want to mention that at the end of our forum here, if you didn't get your question answered, you'll be able to stay on the line and leave a voicemail message. Or maybe you had a question you just didn't want to submit into the forum, but you do need some assistance from someone at Adams County. Stay on the line at the end. Leave that voicemail message. Here's our last PSA for you. If you haven't yet attended some of Adams County's special events, you're in for a treat this summer and fall. You can find more information about each of those flagship events at, you guessed it, adcogov.org/townhall. And in the same spirit of celebration as Memorial Day approaches, Adams County invites you to visit the Adams County Veterans Memorial located at Riverdale Regional Park. The memorial features a replica of the USS Colorado, monuments for each branch of the military, and more. It's a beautiful, meaningful place to reflect and pay tribute to the valor and sacrifice of our nation's veterans. You can find out more about the memorial at, again, adcogov.org/townhall. And folks, we've reached the end of our 90-minute forum. We had over 15,000 Adams County residents join us. We still got a few hundred of you who stuck with us for the full hour and a half, so thanks to those of you who stuck with us until the end, and for those of you who submitted questions and voted in polls. We really appreciate those of you who joined tonight's live forum with our Adams County commissioners and department leaders. Now again, if you still have a question that you'd like answered, or if you need assistance from a specific Adams County department, stay on the line as we wrap up. You'll be automatically directed to our voicemail system, and from there you can leave us a voicemail with any additional thoughts, questions, or concerns. And now if you need someone from the county to reach out and provide any kind of assistance, be sure to include your full name and your best contact information along with your message. And again, you can just stay on the line here as we wrap up to leave those messages. And with that, it's a wrap on our Adams County Telephone Town Hall meeting. Thank you again for your time and your interest in county government. Be well, and have a great rest of your night.